and this is February 12th, 2019, and holy shit, can you say 2-year anniversary podcast? Woo, woo, woo! Today we have the lovely fiance,
Tessa Baker.
And we also have with us
Tristan Notte from Everything Horror Podcast.
That's right. And to top it off, we got Tristan on board because not only has he almost been with us for 2 months, but he has acquired to come on to witness the celebration and offer his own opinion on the 2-year podcast and his 2 months and stuff as well, while giving suggestions and everything else. That is lovely. Now, let's dive right into this. So first off, we'll start with Tessa. Tessa, how do you feel about our baby podcast being 2 years old today?
Honestly, it's fucking surprising how far our podcast has come and how big our baby has grown. I remember just like it was just yesterday that we started this podcast, and here we are 2 years later, and I can hardly fucking believe how time has moved so fast and how many people we've met and friends we've made along the way, and just how much we've expanded in 2 years' time. Like, it's really quite unbelievable. And like, it means a lot to both Paul and I, along with our crew members of Everything Horror Podcast. Like, if it wasn't because of you guys, like, we wouldn't be where we are. Like, you guys believe in us, you listen to us. We've made a lot of friends because of it, and we really appreciate like all of your support.
Yeah, I really agree. It's like, it seems like yesterday when Paul invited me to join the crew, and now I feel like I've expanded with this team, and I would love to see how far we can push this year, and I would love to see how far 2019 will bring us.
I completely 100% agreed. And I gotta agree with what Tessa has said, even though Tessa and I had ran into a couple bumpy roads where not only did we take a 2-month break, but we also had to skip October.
Yeah, because in October, we suffered a devastating loss. We lost our 14-year-old fur baby Merlin, and October 23rd, he had died in my arms, and we needed to take some time to mourn him. I was particularly having a very difficult time with it, and Paul was being my rock and holding me together.
And then 2 days after Merlin's death, we ended up adopting a new fur baby.
To honor Merlin and to help me, because Merlin was my emotional support therapy animal. So Cinder became the new fur baby, and our way of honoring Merlin's memory, and to be my new emotional support therapy animal.
Yeah. And with that being said, this episode is dedicated into the memory of Merlin as well. Yeah. I think everybody should know why, because within the 2 years of doing this, there's not one episode within the first year and start of the second year where you can hear Merlin cooing in the background. And with that being said, let's just take a minute to remember Merlin. Now, thank you for your moment of silence. And, Tessa and I, like we said, we ran into a bumpy road. And what else, babe? During our break, what did we almost do?
During our break, Paul and I were seriously considering not doing a podcast anymore. With everything that we had dealt with in the past year, especially losing Merlin, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to push forward and continue with the podcast. But we found strength in each other and our crew members and friends that we've met over the past couple of years to give us strength to push forward. So if it wasn't for that, then Paul and I may not be sitting here with Tristan
chatting about our 2-year anniversary right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, real quick, going back to what Tessa was saying with improvements and stuff, and as everybody knows, last year how we started it off, we're going to start it off the same way, but this time we're going to show you number differences, how much we've grown in just over a year. And we're going to start with Podbean. So with Podbean, when we first started our first year, we had 57 episodes. Right now, as we record this, it is going to be 81 plus 2 other episodes that are paid for if you help us support the podcast, which we will get into in a minute. But because of the personal issues in Merlin's death, we were only able to knock out 23 episodes compared to the first year, which was 57. Also on the first year, we had 345 hours that we were listening to. For year 2, we have 635 hours. That is 290 hours that you guys have listened to us more of. Once again, I think the numbers would have been up more if we put out more episodes. But like I just stated, year 2 wasn't the greatest for us. Now, when we started Podbean, we got 18 followers. Now we got 28 followers. So we ended up getting an additional 10. When we started, we had a total of 1,009 downloads. Year 2, we saw 2,488. First year, we had about 9 interviews. This year, we had 11 interviews.
So we're already doing better than last year.
Yes. Now, for social media, we're going to start off with Facebook. Facebook had how many likes, babe?
In the first year?
In the first year.
In the first year, Facebook had 100 likes. And then by the second year of our podcast, we had 278 likes. So we have 178 jump.
That's right.
For Twitter, we started out with 109 followers in our first year. By our second year, we are up to 531 followers with a 422 jump. Instagram in our first year, we had 132 followers. By our second year, we have 345 followers, which is a 213 difference. Pinterest, we only have 1 following right now, but I just started Pinterest up for the podcast.
Yeah. So if you'd like to follow us on there, babe, how can people find us on Pinterest?
Just go to www.pinterest.com and search Everything Horror Podcast, and we will pop right up.
That's right. Now, unfortunately, I never said how many platforms we were on the first year. I don't think you remember either. But
we're definitely on a lot more this year.
Yeah. And with that being said, we are officially now on the following platforms that you can actually listen to our podcast. We are on Podbean, YouTube, iTunes, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and I'm proud to announce the premiere platform that we just got on tonight, or today as you're hearing this. We are now on our 8th platform, TuneIn. So now you have 8 ways to listen to our podcast. And TuneIn is the latest one that we just got on. Now, let's dive into the next topic that we're going to talk about. Our favorite episode. Tristan, I'm going to start with you. What has been your favorite episode being with us, or if you've listened to anything beforehand?
I think my favorite episode from this beginning of this year was the monster episode that you, me, and Ken from DK Mag did. I think that was my favorite because monsters have always been my favorite topic in horror history. And the way we were talking about it, what we want to see and what we're getting sick and tired of seeing. And it was we just flowed. And that's one thing I liked about that one. And I think to this day, that one will always be my favorite.
Awesome. Tessa, what is your favorite episode that we've done in the past 2 years? Or last year, this year, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, God. So many to think of, but I guess if I had to pick one for now out of my ginormous list, I would have to say it was the one where I brought the female podcast back to life and we did Stranger Things.
That was a nice comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so we may as well put that out in the open right now since I had to open my mouth. So last month I talked to Paul and I talked to some of my fellow ladies of horror, and I wanted to bring back the all-female podcast episodes for Everything Horror Podcast. We had done one in our first year of doing the podcast, and then after that it just kind of like died out and just kind of croaked. So I really liked the idea of having the all-female podcast episodes, but the problem was finding enough females to help me do it. Until recently, where I have a nice little team of women that like to do them with me. So last month, we brought back the all-female podcast episodes, and we started off with Stranger Things, and then we just did one recently on Friday for Bird Box, which that'll be releasing on the 15th of this month. So my ladies that do the podcast with me have done the first two with me are Stacy Cox from DK Mag and Ali Vela. who's also from Ali V. Abreu. Oh, God, please don't kill me, Ali, for butchering your name. She's also from DK Mag. And Sheila C. Pure Gamer, who's also a part of our Everything Horror podcast team. She does game commentary, but she also does the episodes with us. So far, she's been doing the female ones. She's done a couple with Paul and I. But, so I have those ladies helping me out and doing all-female podcast episodes. And then, sometimes we may have more than that joining in, but so far consistently it's been the four of us. So yeah. So we brought back the female podcast episodes. Woo!
Well, my favorite has to be all of the above. No, and realistically, I'm gonna have to probably say. Actually, I don't even know what to say because I like them all at their own. But if I really had to pick one favorite, oh man, I think it would have to be the very first episode that we did with our new networking collaborators with DK Mag, yeah. And that would probably have to be my favorite because, we talked about it last year about networking, so we ended up networking. And we're going to explain that in a minute, too. All right. Tessa.
Yes.
Now, what is your least favorite episode of this year? Of year 2?
I'm having a really hard time here. I thought there was one that you and I agreed on. I'm trying to remember. I could have swore there was one that you and we were like, we could have done better with this.
Crap.
I think it was shortly after we lost. I think it was like shortly after we came back from losing Merlin. We were trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm trying to remember which one it was off the top of my head. Bear with us for a second here, guys. We're trying to remember. Because there was one that Paul and we both agreed upon that we did that we thought we could have done better. But given the situation of what we had been going through, it
didn't help.
It didn't help.
All right, let's see here.
So, while he's looking that up, Tristan, was there any episodes that you think we could have done better on or didn't like or was kind of meh about?
Oh, yeah, I have one. My first ever podcast, I joined you guys.
The Round Table?
Talking
about a Christmas Horror Story and Krampus?
Yeah, when I fucked up at the end there.
Oh, you mean when you said that, and I'm from Rutland, Vermont?
Yep, that was the worst one I've ever done. It was my first ever, for everybody that has not heard that podcast, it was the first one I've ever been on.
Oh, man, that's forever embedded into our brain, because that was so funny. But I'm sorry, Tristan, what were you saying?
That one, for anybody that has not heard that my first ever podcast I did with these guys, it was god awful. At the end of the whole thing, everybody laughed, everybody had a good time, but me, I'm sitting over here looking like a dumbass, fucking scratching my head, and like, I wish we would have rehearsed this, then I would have known what to say at the end of it.
First time for everything, I mean. And I really do not know, real quick, to put on the record, what the hell me and Tessa were talking about or agreed on. Because first episode that we came back with was my round table with Ken. And then after that, it was the round table discussion about Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. With that one, probably could have been better because of the Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah. Actually, that
Maybe it was that one.
it was that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we were happy with, like, go back to the screen for a minute. We were happy with I think the Black Christmas, like, did we talk about Black Christmas first on that one, was it?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, okay. I can't believe I was saying this, but I'm going to openly admit this. But by the time Paul got to talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, I had passed the fuck out during the podcast. But it wasn't, because it was boring or anything like that. It was just, I was incredibly freaking exhausted from work, and I could not keep my eyes open for the life of me.
Not just that, but that had to get pushed to, like, I forgot, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and that thing lasted
until like 1 or 2 in the morning, I think.
Like 1:45 in the morning, and I had work the next day.
Yeah, which usually we're sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe it was that one because, like, you were, like, wicked happy with how well I did on Krampus.
Yes. Which would have been the next one. Yes. But that was the second round table, yes. When we talked about A Christmas Horror Story and Krampus, where Tristan Notte joined our team. Which he doesn't like it because of the ending, but I still find that hilarious. Now, for the areas of topics, before I actually start this, Tristan, what do you have for note that we can comment on for that?
What's the topic again there, Paul?
I'm on the area podcast. What could we improve on? What did we improve on? Is there any note that you have of what we could have?
I mean, with being with you guys for a short time, I'm not really 100% sure. But maybe just more topics is my thing. Because we've always talked about movies in our podcast that I've been in. And I just like to see more topics. That's all.
Well, good thing that you actually mentioned that, Tristan, because in my notes, we got definitely to work on board games. We got figurines that we can talk about. We definitely need to talk about more about books and music. Music, though, like I said last year, I believe is kind of difficult because of the whole copyright bullshit. And, and I know we're podcasters and stuff, but even we can get hammered on real bad, though. Even though we're supposed to be the one talking about it. Books, though, that's kind of hard because not everybody really has time to read something. Well, like me. My patience will probably die for a long book. If it's nice and short, then I'll probably do it. Like right now, I'm actually reading the new comic for the unused script for Alien 3, which is really good. Babe, is there any books that you would like to bring onto the show to discuss?
Maybe some H.P. Lovecraft stuff.
That would be cool. Maybe your folklores that you wanted to do.
Maybe my folklores and my urban legends and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, so Tristan, what type of stuff would you like to see for topic-wise? Like urban legends? Like what else would you like to see?
Definitely, I definitely agree with Tessa. H.P. Lovecraft is one of the best writers I've ever seen. And I love Cthulhu, the story of Cthulhu, so I want to see a lot more monster.
And we'll have to definitely bring more monsters to the table. Now, since we're talking about improvements, board game, we're still trying to figure that out, people. So bear with us.
It's definitely hard trying to find a horror-based board game.
No, it's not hard. Like, we have some. It's just finding the people to help us and then trying to figure out how to show people or basically tell people how the game works, really. So, because we know sometimes board games nowadays can be about 4 to 10 people, and then there's some where it's like 2 to 6 people. Like, I'm gonna put for the record, because you know what? After listening to the last year's episode of the anniversary, we talked about The Thing.
Oh yeah, the Thing board game, which we finally actually got our freaking hands on after hunting for it for I don't know how long.
2 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because the first time we ever saw it, I think, was at
Gold Calendars.
Go Calendars, and then you tried to go back to get it, and someone else had nabbed it.
Both of them.
And then you were like, God damn it!
Yeah, 'cause the guy literally came in and bought fucking both of them. Like, really?
It's like, do you really need both of them?
Well, it's probably one of those guys that came in and was a third-party seller and was just like, oh, I'm going to sell these. Anyway, moving on. We got another board game, too, called The Forsaken Forest, which I backed on Kickstarter. And speaking of Kickstarter, there's a horror story right there for the Evil Dead 2 board game. That's a horror story right there. Moving on. Anyway, figurines. I don't know if you and me ever talked about how we could actually talk about figurines, except for the only way I could see that ever happening is by doing it as a video review type deal. What do you think? Tristan, if you were gonna talk about figurines on a podcast, would you want it in audio form or video form?
Definitely video.
Okay.
Probably to show them off.
Yeah.
And just be like, then this.
And this beauty right here.
Yeah, I'd have to do like the hand gesturing thing.
From like Jeopardy and all
yeah,
that.
Jeopardy and like Wheel of Fortune and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
It's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work actually. That would definitely work. So
it's kind of like what we do with the Loot Fright unboxing stuff.
Oh yeah.
We do video for that, and we
which we
show
just
everybody.
Put up video number 3, by the way, people. For those of you that may not know, that yes, we do the unboxing videos now for Loot Fright, which we weren't really fucking impressed with Loot Fright last box. But Krampus, though, that was a good one. And then Trick or Treat, not so great. But yes, we do Loot Fright unboxing. Babe, now, I know we talked about them last year. And what are some improvements and what have we done from the coming second year?
Well, our audio is definitely improved. We've also added intro and outro music to our episodes. We've branched out more with networking and collaborating with other podcasts, mainly DK Mag, but we also do stuff with
Possessed Radio
as well.
And we did have a guy, Dan Lee from Dano of the Dead blog, come on the roundtable with us for Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. So we were talking with him.
Yes.
Yes. But he's going through some issues right now. So Dan, if you are listening to this, I hope all is well, and hopefully one day we can get you back on to the show with us and talk more horror. And what's the last thing we've done that we brought back, babe?
Game commentary videos. Besides Sheila doing game commentary videos, Paul or both of us, we've been also doing game commentary videos for the podcast as well. We were doing some stuff on Twitch. We were streaming, but we haven't done a lot of that lately with everything that's been going on. But we may get back into that. But that was also stuff that we had been doing.
Yeah, we tried to raise money for a fundraiser, which is one that I just think we just gave up on because nobody was really showing up, and
The support wasn't there.
Yeah, the support wasn't there that time. So, and I think that's because because of the personal stuff that also went on throughout the second year, where we lost some people, as you might know already. So, yeah.
2018 was a really rough year for us. We lost a lot of people. Our podcast went through some revamping, and we lost crew members, got new crew members.
Lost them, I think. Or some of them.
Lost some of them, but we have a pretty good crew now. We also suffered the loss of Merlin, plus we had some of our own personal demons and stuff that we had to deal with.
Yeah, so we ended up taking a 2-month hiatus.
Yeah, almost 3-month hiatus, yeah.
No, it's 3 months, technically, in total, but
yeah.
we took a 2-month straight hiatus, and then we did a 1 month because of, well, it was unexpected, but we were planning an episode for something. I think it was actually Halloween or something, because we ended up seeing Halloween, and then Merlin death came unexpectedly. Yes. Another thing that we wanted to try to do real quick to start for the new year off is, for those that may know the site called Rabbit, me and Tessa were discussing maybe doing once a month hosting movie parties where you guys can join us on Rabbit and watch movies with us and chat with us. So we're thinking of that too.
I think it would be fun, honestly. I think it would be great fun, like with our horror movie collection. I think it'd be great.
Well,
it'd be on a streaming platform. Right?
Yeah. Yes. That's the problem. Unless we could figure out a neat way to do it, but in this case, it would have to be like Shudder or Netflix or Amazon or something. So what about you, Tristan? What do you think you have improved on since you were talking about your ending from the first time? So do you think you've improved at all throughout almost 2 months being on with us?
I'm getting the hang of it. I mean, it's been different, but I'm definitely getting the hang of it. I feel more comfortable.
And that's how it is.
Well, that's good. I mean, Sheila was the same way when we first got her into the episodes. When she did her first episode after we had finished it, she's like, I was so nervous. Like, I hope I did good. Like, that was my first time, and I probably wasn't that great at it. And surprisingly, she did really well with her first episode with us. And she's been doing great right along. So, I mean, it's all about just finding your natural rhythm and getting used to it and just being yourself.
Agreed. Another thing that Tristan and I were talking at our job, because since we work together, we were trying to think of some cool ideas, and I wanted to run it by everybody because I know you and I were talking about it, Tessa.
Mm-hmm.
But Tristan, your thoughts are definitely appreciated too, but how would you guys think that maybe either once a week or once every 2 weeks or so, we plan a meetup where we get to react to trailers, whether it be trailers for movies, video games, or whatever. That way we can actually react to what we are seeing. Kind of like with the new Child Play trailer that just came out that Tristan and I were talking about at work, and we were just talking about before this recorded. So real quick, if we did a trailer reaction for that trailer, Tristan, I'm going to start with you. So, did you see the trailer, and how did you feel about the trailer for the new Child Play remake?
Yeah, definitely not looking forward to it. Like we said in the beginning of this year, like you said it, Paul, is that this year is going to be the year of the remakes.
I did say that, and I think I said it on DK Mag.
And it's going to be, I think that one's going to be a flunk.
I really hope so. All right, Tessa, you decide.
Not as Jennifer Tilly says, not my Chucky. Like, no. Like, it's bad when Jennifer Tilly herself, aka Tiffany from the Chucky movies, doesn't want any part of this new film that's coming out. Like, she straight up wants nothing to do with it. Like, she's like, it's not my Chucky, you know, Tiffany and I are like staying away from it. Even the doll, Tiffany, is staying away from it. You know it's bad.
When both Tiffany's are staying away from it.
Yeah, when both Tiffany's are staying away from the new Chucky film, you know it's bad.
And touch on everybody, but I'm going to just say to include is this almost reminds me of the time Robert Englund left the theater for the dumbass remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, with the guy that played as Rorschach in the Watchmen movie.
Yeah, so this is exactly what this reminds me of.
That was, and I must say, I had to watch it once because I just had to understand just how bad it really truly was, and oh my God, that film was garbage. Total, complete trash. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, really? And I'm one of those people where it's like, if Robert Englund is not playing Freddy, it's not Freddy. Like, not my Freddy. Like, I want nothing to do with that film. Like, I think it's like garbage. So I can understand like where Jennifer Tilly is coming from with this new Chucky film, because like it's just something you just should not do with classics like Child's Play and Nightmare on Elm Street. You should just leave them alone and have them played by the actors that have always played them, and not change their fucking appearance into something else. Like, no. And rant.
And also with this new Chucky trailer, it's like futuristic. Wow.
Yeah, he had the scanner. He's got a scanner or some shit going on. He's like a robot. Hello, I am your friend, Terry, and I mean, I know he's probably not going to sound like that, but in this case, he might as well, because he's got a scanner now that literally scanned the little boy when he opened up the package. I mean, come on now. I mean, I don't know what's worse, this or this is trying to be like some type of Terminator thing. Oh God, I just gotta agree with Jennifer Tilly that this is not my Chucky. Another thing in the area of podcast that I kind of want to talk about real quick is not only do I want to maybe try doing reaction to trailers, but another thing I would like to maybe try to work on more is revamp it is going to be our Patreon. I think that needs a revamp for sure. And other than that, guys, we'll start with Tristan this time. So, Tristan, what would you like to see for what would you like us to accomplish for the third year?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. But I'd have to say just I really don't know what to say right now. I mean, with being with you guys for so short of a time, like I can't really say. But what I would like to improve on personally is just expanding our to expand our brand, like let everybody know about us. And I think that's what my main focus should be for this year, is letting everybody know that we're out there and that to come listen and enjoy our podcast.
Yeah, I completely agree. Some accomplishment for the third year I would like to see is some more type of podcast support. I'm trying to remember exactly what I was trying to get at with that, but I'd like to do some more podcast support. I think maybe try to reach out for sponsors or something to help us with the funds or something, I think, is what I was trying to get at with that. Otherwise, I need to do some more research for recording like Skype calls or something, or Google Hangouts or something like that, because I know with like sometimes when we get those international interviews, they can't use the updated audio quality that we're using right now, unfortunately, but we will still stick with Google Hangouts or Skype calls for sure. But I would at least try to get better quality out of it for sure. Another thing I'd like to do down the road, I'm not saying right now, but I would like to do more stuff with a green screen, which we do have. And I definitely can't wait to see what Tessa and the girls can come up with for more all-female podcast stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I want to see how much we can make the female podcast episodes grow this year, how much we can get accomplished. So far, we've got 2.
Yeah, 2 this year.
2 this year so far.
Yeah, you did the Stranger Things at the comeback, and you just did Bird Box.
Yep.
Which releases on the 15th of this month. So literally 3 more days after you hear this, you're going to get another all-female episode. So, hooray!
And us girls are talking about doing some more, possibly doing some more this month for the Women in Horror Month.
And just to clarify, the Bird Box is a Women in Horror Month episode, right?
Yes.
So there you go, guys. Is there anything else, babe, that you would like to see us accomplish in this third year that I have not mentioned? Maybe? Is there anything that you kind of think we need to either improve on ourselves or to help get to being accomplished, or what would you like to see us accomplish?
I guess just getting more episodes out than we did last year. I mean, last year wasn't our personal best, but we were just starting out. So, like, I guess just maybe doing more collaborations and things like that. I think what we've accomplished so far is tremendous. I think we've grown a lot in the past year, and pretty much you've covered everything else that we need to
improve on
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Before I hit the last thing of the night of this episode, Tessa or Tristan, is there anything that you guys feel like we need to touch on, or do you think we hit it all, or should we just dive into the last bit?
I think we hit it all.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he thinks we're doing pretty good. All right. Well, it wouldn't be the complete show for the second year. Wow, second year anniversary. If it wasn't for thanking everybody that we've met throughout year 2, and within year 2, we met some people that helped the podcast, and we ended up becoming featured on their website, or we became guests on their podcast. And I'm going to start off with Ken Artuz from DK Mag. I met Ken through Don the Monster, who run 12 Nights of Horror. If it wasn't for Don reaching out to us from 12 Nights of Horror and asking if we would like to be part of his horror family community, then Ken and I wouldn't have met, I don't think, really. And, like, it was because of this community, which was cool at the time, before it kind of became a drama group, really, because people started to attack other people for opinions and stuff. But I'm not going to really get into it. We don't really need to, but just to get the idea. But yeah, I mean, Ken and I, that's how Ken and I met. And then from there, Ken and I established a connection to try to help each other out. And that's how we became good friends with DK Mac. So Don the Monster, thank you again for offering us a spot on 12 Nights of Horror. I will be reaching out to you soon, of course. Another person we've met within the same exact horror community is Omar from Promote Horror. Now, guys, I'm going to say it right now. If you are not familiar with the website promotehorror.com, you guys need to go and support Omar's work. If you have a project, movie, whatever coming out, he does specials where if you do like $10, he will advertise the shit out of your project, and he does great advertising. Even if you don't pay him, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, just tag Promote Horror or use his hashtag Spread the Horror, and he will retweet it for you. It's a great site, and he has also added our podcast to his website under his podcast category. So, Omar, thank you again for believing in us. And finally, my last shout out too, before we get into the people that we've interviewed, is Dan Lee from Dano of the Dead blog. Now, we've only met really through one roundtable, so maybe we should try to plan something together for the future of this year. Finally, I have the following people I would like to thank that have gave us an opportunity to interview them this year. And they are Lawrie Brewster, Daniel P. Coughlin, Brian Coughlin, and Trevor Torseth.
David
Kizzia, I think.
Kizzia, Alex Merkin, JP Willie, Beau Yotty, Patrick W. Boyer Jr.,
Bill Oberst Jr., and Billy Pond.
Casey Allen and John Horsley,
J.R. Bookwalter,
Todd Jenkins and Mrs. Jenkins, his mother,
and Justin Seaman.
So
thank you guys so much.
Huge thank you to all of you guys so much. You guys are all amazing people, and
we can't wait to see what comes up next for all you guys out there too, for your next project or books or whatever, really. And that's really about it. Oh, and we cannot forget how can I forget this? Thank you to everybody who has listened to this podcast to this day. Like Tessa said earlier, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So I can't wait to see what 2019 to 2020 brings for the third year. And if you guys have any suggestions at all, please let us know. I know we had a suggestion a long time ago where we were asked to do an episode about the Scream Queen. We are actually thinking about doing that because we think now that's a great idea. And on that note, Tristan, thank you so much for coming on to celebrate our 2nd year anniversary. And I hope that 2019 will give us some cool shit to talk about as well. And can't wait to see you on whatever episode you appear on as well.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for adding me to the crew.
And baby, can't wait to see what you and the girls are gonna do for the all-female podcast. So hopefully you guys get on it. And I guess I can't wait to see what I'm gonna pull out of my ass. I don't know.
Aw, well, thank you, baby. That's so sweet of you.
Yeah.
You really can't see it right now, but he's smiling at me. But
What are you talking about? Vomit in here.
Don't let that fool you.
And yes. And I know we're forgetting somebody on the list here, but technically his episode doesn't get released until later in the month. But you know what? We're going to throw him out there too before I hear a message like, why did I not hear my name? So Tom Ryan, known for Theater of Terror. So if you have not checked out Theater of Terror, make sure you go to his website at Theater of Terror, and you got to spell theater as THEATRE, and just go to theaterofterror.net and buy yourself a DVD copy or Blu-ray. I'm not sure which one he actually has right now, but if you want a copy of his anthology film that we interviewed him on, which you guys will hear that interview on the 18th of this month. So Tom Ryan, thank you so much for your time as well. I did not want to forget you, even though, like I said, your interview comes out, but I still feel like you deserve a shout out. On that note, if you guys would like to support the podcast, we do have a Patreon that I need to get back into telling that we even have it. Just go to patreon.com/everything horror, where you can donate anywhere between $1 and I think $25. I think I just did, and you get amazing stuff. And depending on what you pledge a month to help us fund the Everything Horror podcast, you can even appear on the podcast. So even $1 will grant you access to know what episodes are coming out before the public. That's a great deal, isn't it, babe?
Yes, that is a great deal.
And not only that, you get to listen to the podcast before the public. Unfortunately, though, the 2-year podcast is not going to be that special treat, but others will be. That's for sure. Because sometimes you even get them weeks in advance. As soon as I'm literally done editing them and uploaded them to the Podbean hosting site, boom, there's the link. And some of these are already about 2 weeks ahead. So, yeah, that's how amazing this Patreon is. And if you don't want to do Patreon, you can always use PayPal. We do have a link for that. It's paypal.me/EH podcast. That is EHPODCASTS. Just like our website, where you can learn all about us and get all the links which is ehpodcast.com. Once again, ehpodcast.com. And I'm going to say it again. Thank you, Tristan, so much for your time. Tessa, I'm so glad that this is the second year going into the third year, and I can't wait to see what our cradle of the baby falling from the abyss of the tree to see what it can grow this year.
Oh, goodness me. I think what Paul means, let me make it a little easier on you. I think what he means is he can't wait to see what becomes of our baby, how much more it grows in this next year. And that I have to agree with him. I can't wait to see what becomes of our podcast baby. 2 years in, and it's already grown so much, so I can't wait to see what this year brings.
And on that note, thank you guys so much for your support as the listeners, supporters. However, even if you guys have given us a chance to review something, I can't remember everybody that had given us a chance to review something, so I'm just going to say it right now. Thank you, everybody who has even given us a chance to review your film or book or short film, anything within the last year as well. Like I said, there's way too many to remember, so I'm just going to say thank you guys so much. And let's see if we can do this all together on the count of 3. Tristan, you too. If you remember all how to end it. Tristan, you know what? I better ask you right now before we do this. You remember how we end the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's try this out on the count of 3. Tristan, you start the countdown.
1, 2, 3.
Stay scary.